Hello, hello. Welcome to Heart with Heart Queen. Today we have pizza. So, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. So let's start with the first question, which is how did you come up with your name?
Oh, so I used to play Hearthstone in college, and I was only playing like with my friend, and we never like planned on being too serious about the game. And when I made my account, I was eating a slice of pizza, so I just went with that because I figured like I'm not gonna play that much Hearthstone, so and it kind of stuck. I plan on changing it, but I qualified for playoffs for the Hearthstone's America playoffs, and you can't change your name if you want to like participate. So I was kind of stuck with it, and then by then, like I show up to the tournament, everybody already knows me, so pretty difficult to change your name after that. So it's been that way ever since.
And I mean, you were pretty lucky to get such a short name, also.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's
it's a
very,
good
very
thing
true
to
to the
keep
point.
it. It's a good. It's not like pizza 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so that's and so I'm guessing you're not planning on changing it now that like everyone knows you as
Yeah, not
pizza.
anytime soon now.
Does people call you pizza in real life, and do you get stopped in the street called pizza?
uh, it's kind of half and half. Like some people, like some of my really really close friends, they call me Andrew, which is my real name. But for the most part, I mean, gaming people all kind of just we just call each other by our usernames a lot of the time, even if we're hanging out IRL. I have been stopped once in like not like at a gaming convention, and somebody who watches my stream that was also like in the Magic the Gathering community that like also watches, and they like found me there, so that was kind of nice.
Good, good. Does your mom call you pizza?
It does not.
My mom called me queen.
She does not. She thinks that it's stupid. Like,
Okay, so does it? If I'm not mistaken, streaming is your career right now.
it is. I play for Tempo Storm, and I've been doing that for a little bit over a year now on Tempo Storm, but I've been streaming full time for about like 7 years, partnered for 6.
Wow. And you haven't you don't have a job on the side, right?
I do not. It's all streaming.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. The dream.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned it's been 7 years you're streaming. That's crazy. 7 years you said, which is like such a long time. Was it always on Twitch?
Yeah. I started streaming on Twitch after I got into Hearthstone because I took a sponsorship for that, and then I kind of just kept going based off of that. So didn't really
Okay.
intend on like streaming this much.
Good. And so when you decided to take the leap of faith, how long did it take for you to take that leap of faith to start streaming?
Uh, to start streaming or to like to really commit to streaming.
To commit to streaming, like not to do this like as a career and a real everyday job.
Oh, I guess like after I got partnered, I think that's probably like when I realized that I could focus a little bit more on this and really make it function.
Okay, good. And so did you have a moment that you had to tell your parents that you were gonna do streaming for a living?
Not really. It kind of just worked out that way. I'm pretty independent for one, and I've been playing in gaming tournaments all my life, so that conversation, if it was going to happen, happened like a long long time ago when I was like traveling to tournaments. So they're pretty understanding. I think that I'm pretty established already.
Good. So your family is really supportive of what you're
Yeah.
doing. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so can we go back and see a bit of your journey into like when did you started playing Hearthstone at the beginning, and like how did everything unfold for you?
Oh, sure. So I used to play before I started playing Hearthstone. I played a lot of Magic the Gathering competitively, and around the time that like Hearthstone was releasing in beta, a lot of people at tournaments were like pushing for Hearthstone. I actually got a beta key for Christmas, and I used to play with a friend of mine. We would just play like Arena a bunch, and I stopped playing Magic because I was going to college, and I needed something to do in my spare time to like stay competitive. So I wound up just like focusing a lot on Hearthstone, and then I mostly just played like Arena and stuff, but Miracle Rogue was really popular back then, and then I just built a Miracle Rogue deck, and then I like started focusing on that to get Legend. I got Legend pretty quickly, and then started qualifying for tournaments, and that's kind of like what led me into streaming.
Good, good. And okay, so you said the first mode you were playing is Arena, right?
Yeah.
And so how did you end up playing standard? Like, was there like a turning point? Is there like a specific? Is it just
Really,
because of the tournaments?
I mean, everybody at that point, like you played Arena just because there wasn't really like a way to build up a collection. So, like eventually you kind of just played standard because it was a different mode and it had something to kind of like bring in. And I also had a lot of other friends who played Hearthstone at the time, and it was kind of just inevitable because we had to play against each other.
Okay, good. Um, and so you're from New York City, if I'm not mistaken.
I am.
And have you ever lived elsewhere?
No, my entire life in New York City.
Okay. So is it a plan of yours of if to go in the streamer house?
I've been offered stuff like that in the past. It seems really interesting. I guess it depends on like I guess it depends on the offer and who would really be there. I kind of feel like if your roommates aren't people that you know, it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's definitely something that like I've considered in the past. I don't think that I would mind moving into a streamer house right now if somebody offered me.
What would be the ideal composition of this house
Of like of
of people?
people or
Yes.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure just like only my friends. I don't really like even now I kind of just like stay in my room and just focus on streaming. And then in my spare time most of the things are built around either like focusing on organizing streaming like sponsorships and stuff or just kind of like hanging out. So I'm a pretty solitary person, but I think I'd prefer to just like hang out with my friends all day. Wouldn't be too bad.
Can imagine. Yes. Okay. And so when you started streaming, was there any other streamer that was there that you were looking to and that helped you build your kind of a persona?
When I started streaming, it was kind of early into streaming. Like there were still very established streamers like Trump and Show and Raynad and everybody. Um, it pretty much was just like a lot of people hanging out in calls. So I played with Ant a lot, who has taken a little break from streaming, but he's still like does so every often. Astrogation, Frank Kirby is like a mod who hangs out in a lot of channels, but it was pretty much just us hanging out in calls, and then eventually like we all like were hanging out in calls on Ant stream, and then everybody else started streaming for themselves, and that's kind of like how it diversified itself.
Okay. Okay, nice. Okay, so if we talk a bit about Hearthstone in general, okay, so which one was your favorite meta in expansion so far?
Uh, I've been getting this question a bit. I usually say Ngoro. I really liked adapt as a keyword, and a lot of like the mechanics or a lot of the archetypes that were kind of just in there. Elemental Shaman, Zoo was still possible. There's there were even like a bunch of control decks like Control Warrior and Control Paladin were in the format. It just felt very diverse. Outside of that, maybe Q Block meta, pre-nerf Q Block meta I liked a lot because Q Block was just like a very explosive deck, but it was still very exploitable. And Defile like was a very complicated card, but a very rewarding card to play. You know, so you felt good about yourself if you got a good Defile.
Of course. Especially in that meta.
Yeah.
um, And was there a favorite card or artwork that you liked from that expansion?
From Ungoro?
Yes.
Ungoro. I don't even really remember the cards. I'm really bad with art. I never like look at any of the card art, so I would never be able to do like trivia. But uh Razorfin Raptor, is that what it's called? The 2 mana 3/2 adaptive thing? That guy always kind of stood out.
Okay. Nice. Well, especially when they're golden. You know, when they're golden, like
Yeah.
you see it moving. So usually it's like, um, okay. So okay. So related to, so you say you're not really into the artwork of the cards, but um, which do you have a card that you played it so much that you that you don't want to touch it again because you you played it too much?
Oh, you just played it. You've played it so much. I kind of wish I could play Leroy again, but I feel like Leroy is probably the card that I've cast like the most, especially because cards like Shadow Step and just like bouncing everything. I guess it probably has to be Leroy. I can't really think of any other card in like that significant of a light.
Okay. And do you have a favorite card back, like a top three?
Okay. Oh, well, I probably have to go with the pizza card back. Outside of that, the pizza card back, the ramen one I like a lot. My name was almost ramen in Hearthstone, and outside of that, the like early uh in beta Pirates card back, because that was the card back that I got the month that I first finished top 100. I could not tell you what month it was, but I used that for a really long time.
Nice. Um, Related to heroes, which one was your first golden one?
It was Hunter actually, because Undertaker Hunter was very popular in that format. Everyone always thinks that it's like Rogue, but it's like they were just so everybody played Undertaker Hunter back then, so it was impossible not to.
And okay, good. And during the last year, which deck did you found the most interesting that kept your attention for the longest?
So far it's probably Quest Shaman, especially with how much the quests have kind of been sticking around the last few sets. I've probably like played the most of that over the last year or so. I tried really hard in the last like several patches, especially now since we had a new set, but Quest Shaman always winds up like being the like the best deck, and I think that's probably still the case.
Did you play Sneaky Rogue?
The Thief Rogue, a little bit. I played in the Theory Crafting stream, and that was one of the decks that I had in the beginning. It was one of the 0 mana versions. It wasn't like as refined as the rest of them, but we definitely knew that like it was going to be powerful from playing that in the beginning. I didn't play it too much after release because I don't really think that it's like that interesting to play a bunch of mirror matches on stream, but I played a lot of it like in that Theory Crafting stream.
Good. Did you play any Mozaki mage?
A little bit. It's I don't really like Mizaki that much, but I think that maybe I played like 1 or 2 games. I
Oh,
probably played
that
consistently.
that low. Wow. What do
Yeah.
you have against Mozaki?
It's just not very interesting. I mean, it's like a lot of defensive tools, and I think the biggest like comparison is probably to Freeze Mage, but Freeze Mage was just so much more different, so much different. Being able to range like Frost Nova Doomsayers is a tough comparison to like Incancer's Flow. I just never really got around to it.
Well, okay, so you're talking about encounter flow. So let's go into the latest nerf. What do
Sure.
you think about them? And do you think it was enough? Do you think they missed on some opportunity to nerf something else? I want to know your thoughts on that.
Sure. So this patch really was just about targeting Thief Rogue. So it definitely was enough because the numbers on that have gone way down. I think in general, like their philosophy behind balancing stuff has been to take a really gradual approach. And a lot of people are kind of frustrated about that because they're just like, oh, well, they'll just tick it up by 1 mana. But the idea is that they really want to have control over what they're doing, right? And every 2 or 3 weeks, every like month or so, there's going to be a balance patch, which means that they get to like keep pushing things if they feel that it's not that strong. So far, I actually think it's been a pretty good job. There are definitely cards that like are still pretty problematic. I definitely probably would have touched the hero power on scabs instead of like raising the mana cost, because anytime that you like hit that point where something is 0 mana, it's really tough. It kind of feels like a break point for being exploited. But so far this patch has like done a pretty fair job. It's kind of just a matter of like having new stuff, I think, because like we unlocked Thief Rogue and now there's not Thief Rogue, but it's still kind of a quest meta, right? And United in Stormwind was the quest meta, but now we have a whole new set. So you really kind of want to see a lot more of that format or that set to really like shine through instead of just like, oh, I'm playing against quest handlock again. That's probably what the next nerf will be, if anything. But so far, I think I'm pretty satisfied with this format.
And okay, last question related to Hearthstone. What are you exciting to see in the next year?
Uh, the rotation. I'd probably say that I'm always the most excited to see. And I don't know if you've seen like a lot of the spoilers. Apparently, like there's a lot of the single player content. There's like a lot of Monk being discussed in the next set, because the next set's supposed to be like Pandaria based, I suppose. So I'm kind of excited to see like what they do with that. I always really like the idea of Hearthstone being able to adapt based off of like some of the worlds in World of Warcraft, because I never played World of Warcraft myself, so it's always kind of a surprise. But those are usually like the ones that I enjoy the most.
Okay, and you're talking about World of Warcraft. So are you, and so you're not playing it, but are you playing other video games?
Oh yeah, I play tons of like other games. I like cycle through a lot of strategy games just because I talk about strategy games a lot. So like every like couple of months or so, I'll play like some games of Battlegrounds, or I'll play like Legends of Runeterra or Magic the Gathering, and just kind of like reevaluate whether or not it's something that I really want to get back into. I just played I just started like playing Battlegrounds a little bit because of the buddies that they introduced. So like I kind of had to reevaluate that so that I could discuss it. But I cycle through lots of games. I mostly play like with my friends, if I'm not playing strategy games. So we play lots of like Valorant and Overwatch and like party games and stuff.
Okay, good, good. And have you tried the Fight Tactic?
Oh yeah, I love Teamfight Tactics. It's like definitely the game that I play the most right now.
But do you stream it? I don't think so.
I stream sometimes, but it's kind of nice to just have something that like you don't have to stream, you know, especially because TFT is like a very APM intensive game, and actually a lot of people in Hearthstone now are starting to like branch over and stream TFT at the end of their streams, and they'll all tell you like it's so much more difficult to like focus on your turn and be able to interact with the chat. So you kind of have to like build yourself up as a player before you can get to that point. I think everybody's kind of realizing that now. So maybe I'll do a little bit more consistently, but I've been playing a ton right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's going super super fast.
Yeah.
So I think I think I'm not gonna. I wouldn't be able to talk to chat and do the both at the same time.
It's so difficult. I try so hard, and then like I always mess up.
Okay. Um, and so, do you have tips that you want to share with viewers about for people that wanted to start streaming and that like they don't know where to start, and it's like some common mistakes you see and you wanted to like let them know before they make the same mistakes?
If you want to, isn't really that big of like it doesn't really like that taxing on your computer, but finding like peripherals or just proper stuff or like overlays, just do it. People are hanging out for the gameplay or for like you anyway. To find people, I mean, find people in your normal life, go on your friends list. Hopefully, don't be too annoying about it, but just be like, hey, I'm gonna be streaming at this point. Like, if you want to hang out, blah blah blah. Get your family, because your family like probably wants to support you in this, and they'll have their phones open, and that'll be like your first starting community. And then like when you're actually streaming, just stream, just talk. Talking, the biggest mistake that everybody makes when it comes to streaming, and it's really tough because like mentally speaking, you don't know how to talk to nobody, right? Like I'm talking to a screen right now, and like nobody's actually in my room, but I still have to communicate because that's just how technology's kind of evolved. Just never stop talking. Literally just always, because if somebody comes into your chat and like they're seeing you and you're just like sitting there silent, like it's really hard for them to find a point where they want to engage because they don't think that like they think that you're focusing, right? When in actuality, like you're just kind of waiting for somebody, but you have to be that person that draws them in. So just like literally just talk about anything. Like it actually just doesn't matter because they'll figure out the rest. And I guess the second thing is just read the chat, read your questions before you respond to them, you know, because that helps other people who may be in the chat to understand what the conversation's about. And then that like kind of promotes a lot more conversation. It's a lot of just never shutting up is the best advice that I've ever gotten when it comes to streaming. But that's pretty much it. Just do
Yeah,
it. Do it for fun, and then keep doing it, and then hopefully it works out.
I 100% agree. Like sometimes, like I mean, I don't watch a lot of stream because I mean, I stream all the time and I work when I'm not streaming. So, but when I do come like on my lunch break to a stream, and sometimes I try to like go and see smaller streamer to see like who's like in the community other than big streamers, and sometimes they just like don't look at chat, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, hey, and then I leave.
Yeah. It's tough.
So I think that's a really good advice. And you're right, like talking to the to a screen at first, it's not always easy. It's crazy how people think it's super easy to become a streamer. It's just like you play and you're in front of your computer like before, but it's a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, you really have to train yourself to do it, which is okay. I mean, every stream is just an exercise in figuring out how you want to talk to people, right? So you just got to keep at it.
Good. Okay, so when you're not playing video games, what do you do?
Sleep mostly. I've been trying really hard recently to start like branching out and doing more things. I read a lot. Um, I listen to a ton of music. I try like really hard to like always find new music to listen to. But I've mostly just been reading. I have like a ton of books on my backlog that I've been trying to like push through. So it's been a little bit of a task to actually find the time to be able to do that, but that's kind of just what I'm into right now.
What's the last book you read?
The last book I read is called A Song of Achilles. It's like a retelling of, you know, how Achilles like has to go and save Helen of Troy and all that other stuff. It's pretty much that story, but it's told from the perspective of this other guy who's like his friend along the way, and it's about him like kind of delving with all the other people that were kind of involved, which is nice. I like mythology a lot, so mythology is like really good because it's people have always like needed an explanation for things, and that was like a really common way to do that. So it's always an interesting story.
Yeah, no, of course. And do you watch movies or TV shows?
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot with my friends. We just watched Archive 81. Have you seen that? It's like a new Netflix horror film.
I don't like horrors movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, we watch a lot of horror, so
I'm very scared. Like I was watching a Harry Potter recently, and I was under my bed. And I was like, no. So yeah, I don't think horror movie will work with me.
Oh,
So Archives 21, you said?
Archive 81, yeah.
81, sorry. 81.
No
Okay.
problem.
Scared of Herminion, yes, exactly. Okay. And the last movie you saw?
The last movie that I saw? Eternals. It's like the big Marvel like I don't really know what they're even calling it now because there's like not a big Marvel series, but the most recent one has Angelina Jolie in it.
That made it interesting for you.
I guess it's like notable. She was like the big draw for everybody. It's like, oh, Angelina Jolie's in it.
Okay, we know your taste. We know your taste. Okay, so now I do have a couple questions about food. It's the food part of the interview, which is the the part where everyone is super scared usually.
For food.
But your name is Pizza, so I mean it's for sure we had to do a food part of the interview. So first thing first, beer or wine?
Uh,
Or you don't drink? Or you don't-
Probably beer. I'm not that big of a beer person, but I do like craft beers a lot. They're like flavored beers.
Okay, nice. Um, do you like cheese?
Oh, I love cheese.
What's your favorite top three cheeses?
Top three.
Yes.
Oh, uh, probably Monterey Jack because I love quesadillas and stuff.
Ooh.
Does blue cheese count? I don't know if
Yes.
blue cheese is like okay, so blue cheese.
Of course, it's a
'Cause
cheese.
Well, it's like I don't even know because it's like a really weird kind of a cheese, but and then I guess we're gonna go with American for the third one. But I like quesadillas, I like chicken wings, and blue cheese is good for that. And then I like sandwiches. So yeah, there you go.
Good. Are you a cook?
I mean, I'm not like a very big cook. My sister is a chef. She graduated culinary school, but I've been cooking a lot, especially like as soon as quarantine started. I was like, all right, I'm gonna probably take this time to cook for myself, so I don't have to spend so much money on delivery.
Okay, and so what's your go-to to cook at home?
At home, I like chicken katsu a lot. I've been eating that a lot, like a lot of curry. Like I love
Nice.
Japanese curry, so.
And so when you order food, what's your go-to for delivery?
Oh, probably just Chinese. Like New York's very big on like there's like a Chinese food place everywhere. So that Chipotle, I'll eat a lot.
Nice. So you like spicy food?
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, fruits or vegetables?
Fruits. I was always a picky eater when I was a kid. I'm like I have to like force myself to eat vegetables.
And top three best fruits?
Bananas, mangoes, the third one's always gonna be so basic. I feel like apples, I guess.
I thought we were
feel like
going to
apples
say
are-
pineapples.
Oh, pineapples are a good one. Yeah, pineapples are good.
It's like the trinity of like of exotic fruits together for like a good smoothie.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, are you a dessert person?
I suppose so. I'm always like I don't have like a go-to dessert. I guess like a nice cheesecake I'll have, but I kind of just like I'll kind of just pick whatever's there because it's nice to experiment with the desserts.
Good. And when you go home to see your family, does your mom do like a special family recipe that you're always super happy to eat?
Oh no, we all like my family's very very separate, so we all kind of just do stuff for ourselves. It's
Okay.
nice to like we just kind of like hang out, and we have to just appreciate that we're all just there at the same time.
But you don't eat.
Well, we make our own food.
Okay. Okay. Um, so that's good. That's good. Okay. So I have a couple of questions that got here from viewers. So I'm gonna start with them. So
Sure.
it's gonna be mixed question. Okay. So have you been secretly testing the Bazaar? Is the game coming out soon?
Oh no, I wish I could get into the into the bizarre testing. It's like kind of an alpha. Everybody that I talk to says that they really enjoy it so far. And from what I've seen, I think it's just like I think it's just cosmetics that are left. Cosmetics and like polishing up designs. So hopefully it'll be soon. But games take a really long time to release. So at the very least, like there's promotion. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out within like the next 2 years. I think that it might be like promoted throughout the year, but it might not happen this year. I'm not someone who works on the game though, so don't take my word for it.
Um, so the other one is related to your team. So I guess you were always in the same team, right? Since you're a streamer, did you do
Uh
different teams?
oh yeah, quite a few
Quite
actually.
a
Yeah.
few. Okay. Which ones?
I play on Temple Storm now. I started off the first team that I played for was Evo Gaming, which was the LAN center that sponsored me for playoffs. And then I played for Gale Force, which is not, I don't think they're around anymore, but they were really big in Heroes of the Storm. And then they signed a bunch of us for a series of dream hacks. And then after that, um, I played for a small European team called Apex Gaming, and I think that's it. I think that's it. I don't know. I played it for a lot of teams.
Okay, and how long have you been playing with Temple Storm?
It should be about 2 years total now, and then the main roster I've been on for about a little bit over a year.
Okay, nice. If you could be an anime character, which one would you be and why?
Excuse me. What character?
Every time I say it, no one understands it. Anime?
Oh, an
Anime?
anime character? Who would I be?
It's the French compared to the English. Every time I say that, people are like, "What?"
Think. Oh, that's a tough one. Uh, I'm gonna go with Shikamaru from Naruto.
Okay.
Because he's like we got very similar personalities. We're both very chill, but we're both very like analytical. I think that would probably be a good one.
Okay. Um, has anyone said anything weird about your ethnicity?
Uh, it's Twitch chat, so that's kind of an inevitability. I'm pretty like diverse. I have like a lot of um like things in my heritage, so it's kind of tough. I actually just figured it out for myself because I took a 23andMe um a little bit over a year ago. I always thought that I was just kind of like half and half, but it turns out that I'm like quite a few different things.
Do you know
So,
them by heart? Do you-
I have it listed on my bio.
I'm
I can list it.
interested.
Hold on. So I am I am 49% Central Asian, which is like Middle Eastern or like Indian and Sri Lankan, and there's like Malaysian and stuff there. 40% West African, which is pretty much just you can pick whichever one you want. 9% like European stuff, which I didn't realize at first, but then I figured it out from my mom my mom later because she did the same thing, and I am 1% Chinese. So I didn't understand like the 9% European thing and then the 1% Chinese, but then my mom did the same thing, and she did like the family heritage, like your whole lineage, and our lineage traces back to an Irish slave owner, and that's where the 10% comes from, I guess.
Okay.
It's just one of those. So that was
Okay.
pretty interesting to figure out, but it's nice. It's nice to like understand like where your family comes from.
And like, were there a situation where you had like bad experience with viewers or people on Twitch regarding your ethnicity?
Yeah, I mean it's the internet, so there's gonna be rude people, no matter what you do. I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I've been on the internet a long time, so I definitely know how to handle myself when it comes to stuff like that. But like the most important thing I think about streaming when it comes to stuff like that is just maintaining a good environment for everybody else. It's not that difficult to like ban a bunch of people, you know.
Of course, of course. Well, that question we already answered is about the new patch. So yes, that's good. Um, okay, so other question: do you have a rival in the Hearthstone community?
Not really any like people don't. I feel like everybody's kind of like off by themselves right now. When Asmo streamed Constructed, that was like a very big deal. Every time that we would play, it was always like really really hype in the chat. I actually miss Asmo playing Constructed like a ton because it was always like kind of fun to play against him. So I think if anybody had to have been it would be him.
Okay, good, good. And do you have one right now that's playing constructed? Like every time you play against them, chat
Not
gets
really.
crazy.
I kind of just focus on it's hard because um especially like we play on multiple servers, so it's hard to like find someone that consistently.
Of course. So you play on EU and NA?
Yeah, sometimes I play on Asia.
Oh yeah, okay. You do. Interesting. Um okay, the do you have a favorite venue for a tournament?
Uh, a favorite venue for any tournament?
Yes.
I like the Philadelphia Convention Center a lot. It's not a big Hearthstone place, because I think they do Hearthstone different. But when I played Magic, that was always really good. That's probably the place that I've been to the most, because like I used to travel for Magic tournaments every weekend, but it's got like a really big convention center, but across the street from it, there's like this really nice market, and it's got a bunch of like different foods and stuff. And the Amish come by, and they make like rib sandwiches and stuff. So even if like you scrub out of the tournament earlier, at least there's like stuff to do.
Nice, nice. And what's your favorite experience from one tournament?
Uh, my favorite experience from one tournament. I remember when I was like really, really young, I qualified for nationals for Magic. A lot of my like favorite moments are gonna be from Magic because I was just so young, and it was really nice to like. I guess it was probably just like my first big tournament win was like qualifying for that. It was really nice to like put in the work and then like actually accomplish something. And like New York's a very big card game city, so like being able to, like you're the person who won, right? Like getting to like feel that accomplishment for the first time like was definitely like pretty far up there. So I look back on that pretty fondly.
Nice, nice. Do you play board games?
Sometimes I have a lot of friends who like are really big on board games. I am looking a lot more into game design now, so like I get to analyze a lot of them. I don't know if I have a favorite board game. Maybe Ticket to Ride. Have you ever played Ticket to Ride?
Yes, it's one of my fave too.
Oh yeah.
The game is so used that we had to buy a new one.
Yeah.
Like the cards were like so because my mom and I, we play so much Ticket to Ride that we used the cards. Imagine.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Okay. Is there something we don't know about you?
Oh, can you ever really know everything about someone?
Something special about you that we don't know?
Mm, I'm a pretty open book. Something that I don't that other people don't know.
No?
I don't know. I don't know if it's anything that like I would outwardly want to reveal.
Okay, okay, of course, of course. That's okay too. um, okay, did you sorry, I lost
That's okay.
I lost the question. um, so Is there something? Do you have? Oh yes, I'm sorry. Do you have a special talent other
A
than
special
being
talent
good at playing video games?
other than being good at playing. I don't. I
Mm,
honestly don't think so. Oh, I like archery a lot. I like archery a lot. When I was in college, I got pretty big into archery because I took a class for that, and the instructor said that I was pretty good at that. There actually is a range like here, but I haven't had time to like get understand like whether or not I can start doing that more consistently. But I love the archery.
good. Um, so how does competitive Magic compare to competitive Hearthstone?
Uh, it's about the same. You can play Hearthstone at any time, and I feel like that advances stuff a lot because you always have to like keep tabs on stuff. Whereas with Magic, it's really just the weekend kind of a thing. You prepare for a tournament, you play in the tournament, and then you move on with your life. But Hearthstone is just so much. Like I would never really have to think about like, oh well, it's the middle of the night. I can just play ladder because I can build my rank and then focus on that. And I think that's like kind of one of the good things is just accessibility. You can always kind of have somebody to play with.
Nice. Are there lessons that competitive Hearthstone could learn from other competitive esports?
Other competitive esports, I've always kind of felt like strategy games have never kind of like worked together. You know what I mean? Like if you look at like fighting games, if they have a tournament for fighting games, they'll have like 5 or 6 different fighting games under the same venue, and then a lot of people can like go to different things and compete in different things. And it's always kind of like surprised me that that's never really happened, especially since stores that sell cards, they all work with different cards as well. So like logically, you would just have a bunch of different people playing different games. And I've always kind of wondered. I always thought that that would be a really interesting thing to attend.
Okay, good. Are there any mechanics from other TCG, TCG, J, G?
TCG, yeah.
Sorry,
That's okay.
that you'd like to see ported into Hearthstone in some way?
I really like the idea. I really like now what they just did with buddies. It's kind of similar to um companions or generals from Magic. It's a format called Commander where you have a dude that you can just constantly summon from outside the game. I really like that idea in Battlegrounds because it's just kind of an extra thing to build off of. I also think it's pretty doable in constructed if you can just like have something that you can like have access to. It's kind of like a hero power, but I actually am a really big fan of them putting that into Battlegrounds right now. So I would love to see it in constructed.
Good. Is there a specific item in your room that you cherish a lot?
Uh,
Because you have like
yeah, I have
lots
like
of
a lot of
little.
stuff. Um,
Can you show us?
Specifically, I'm trying to think. I guess I have to pick one thing. All right, we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go with the Pikachu. This was the first gift that my friend Asuna got me, like a very very long time ago. It was like right after I got partnered, and she like sent me a bunch of stuff with this. She said it was supposed to like watch over me as I stream. So
Oh, that's so cute. That's
that
really
was always like a
nice.
really big deal for me as a streamer because like that was one of the first times that I'd gotten fan mail.
Oh, that's really nice. I love Pikachu. I have a Pikachu
Yeah.
onesie. So you're talking about fan. Are have you ever been worried someone is gonna show up at your door?
Not really. I mean, I kind of live like very far from stuff in the first place, but I'm pretty good at like keeping like this kind of private, or at least nobody could find me.
Good. You live like in a fortress. Like-
Yeah, there's a moat, there's a dragon.
okay, so if you were not a streamer and not a competitive video game player, what would you do for a living?
That's a good question. I usually think that I think I'd probably just be like a boring programmer. That's what my degree's in computer science, so I'd probably just work in tech. I think about that a lot though. Like, what if I just like never got into card games? And it's like a butterfly effect kind of a thing. Like, you'd be a completely different person if you make one different decision. So, but I'd probably just be a programmer or something. Maybe I'd work on games.
Okay. Have you traveled a bit?
Not recently, but for every time that there is a tournament, I try to at least like make it there.
Do you have a favorite place that you've been to?
I like Texas a lot. Austin, Texas is pretty fun. It's a lot different from all the other Texas places. Outside of that, California, because I like being on the West Coast a lot. I have a lot of friends there, so it's always, even if nothing's happening, at least like you can find somebody who's there because there's so many people live in California.
Of course. And if you would live outside of the US, where would it be?
If I could live anywhere outside the U.S., maybe Japan. I like ramen a lot. Ramen's actually my favorite food, so I would want to.
So if I go in in your kitchen right now, I would found a lot of ramen.
Oh, 100%.
Do you eat ramen on stream?
Sometimes I don't really eat as much on stream because chat's always like, what are you eating?" Blah blah blah. But I do eat a lot of ramen. I have like lots of like different fancy ramens. So
I like ramen too. I don't eat it that often though, but I really like when it's fresh noodles. So
yes,
I have a good
love it,
place
love
in
it.
Montreal with fresh noodles. So yeah, nice. Good. Is there something you're looking forward in the next year that is not related to Hearthstone?
I've been trying to move, which might put a damper on our like keeping my location secret plan.
Oh,
So I had planned on moving before like everything had shut down, and then I was like, all right, I guess I'll just wait until I can find a place. But I think within like the next year or so, that's probably like my next non gaming objective is to move.
to move like in the same city or in a different city?
Oh yeah, probably in the same city. Like, I like New York a lot. New York's like very like there's always kind of something to do, so I like having that.
What's the best pizza in New York?
Uh, there's so many like different ones. I always say that like even if like it doesn't really matter where you go, because no matter where you go, you're still getting a New York slice. I have always wanted to try. There's two places that I've always wanted to try. One is called Lucali's, which is in Brooklyn, and it's supposed to be like this really, really nice place that like always has a line. And then there's another one that I forgot the name of, but it's supposed to be like the world or the oldest slice in New York. And then the guy who like opened it like decades ago is still working there, but he's super old. And those are two like really, really big ones that are supposed to be like the best slice in New York.
Okay, I will ask you the names later on Discord because
Right there.
I'm going in New York in 10 days.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yes. So
Okay, I will figure those out for you then. Yeah.
so I'm excited for to try some pizza. So yes, I know guys, 222 big announcement. I'm going to New York. um, so yes, so it's gonna be my first time traveling outside of Canada in 2 years and more than 2 years. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice. Hope you have a good time.
Thanks. Um, and okay, I think chat has had one last question. Let me check. In the one sec. No, okay, it was Yum Pickle being Yum Pickle. Never mind. Not gonna ask you this question. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Did I miss some question? I did ask these question already, Mike. I did. So, okay. Is there anything you wanted to share with us other than that?
No, that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything.
Good, good. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
And I hope you're gonna have a fantastic weekend. And I will talk to you soon.
All right, thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hi guys.